I think the biggest mistake people make in their lives is thinking that their life is not perfect right here, right now. I think that most of society is chasing some proverbial carrot outside of themselves, thinking that when they get that thing, that they will finally be fulfilled. And I like to say it's no different than the Ninja Turtle or the Barbie that we wanted as a child. You know, we get the Barbie, we get the Ninja Turtle, and we get this dopamine hit, and then what happens? A week later, a month later, we want another Ninja Turtle. So that Ninja Turtle and the Ferrari, that Ninja Turtle and the house, that Barbie and the money, that Barbie and the partnership are no different. We're still always chasing something outside of ourselves. So the moment that one understands that all is perfect right here and right now, everything shifts. We found out and we know now in our science that everything is vibrating. And when we match the vibrational frequency of that which we are calling in, we become the space for things to come to us, to manifest. Most people suffer because they're in resistance to what is. Most people suffer because they believe life should be different than what is. Back to it. The moment we come into alignment with the now moment, then we have choice. But what you resist persists. And for a lot of my life, I was in resistance to life. Even when I, quote unquote, woke up, I was in resistance. I was saying, oh, the government, oh, the food industry, oh, they're all trying to kill us. And I was in resistance to life. That's what is. The question now is, what do I choose now? And now, and now, because from that choice, there's possibility. The ego is fantastic. The ego's job is to keep us safe, and the ego is here to stay. So for me, the ego tends to operate from the wounded self. And when I say wounded self, I mean the self, the small s of the self that was hurt, harmed, or endangered as a child. And you see, there's this thing called conditioned tendencies. So right now, if there were to be a fire alarm go off, or some men bust down that door and run in here, all of us would tap into our conditioned tendencies. So mine may be fight, yours may be flight, his may be freeze, hers may be appease, but all of us have them. And these come from traumas that happened as a child. So the ego tends to operate from those traumas, from those conditioned tendencies. So for me, the name of the game is awareness. Is can you catch the conditioned tendency and choose something new? Can you catch the conditioned tendency in the middle of it and choose to override and step into the truth of who you be? Because there are the facts and then there is the truth. And those are two different things. Awareness is that. Awareness is breath. Awareness is here, now. Awareness is a constant understanding of what is, what's here, now, and now, and now. See, we teach that you can't intervene in a world you truly cannot see. And this is a world. And most people want to change their lives, but they can't truly see what it is they're trying to change, because they're trying to change it from the outside. They think that if they get a facial, or lift some weights, or do some butt squats, or get a bigger car, that will actually cause the change. But the true change is an inside change. The true change is understanding the moment to moment, the little, so I like to play this game where I'm like a little mad scientist, a little happy mad scientist, where I pick apart. And see, all of this stuff happens, it's a practice. Whatever you practice more of, you get more of. So when you step into the practice of picking apart and noticing all the little things and little nuances and the stories we're telling ourselves. Oh, you're not doing good enough right now. This is going to be a great documentary and you need to be better. These are the little ego mind conversations that come up. Now I can punish myself for that thought, or I can notice it, become a witness to it, and then step back into the truth of who I am. Those are two different conversations. So, and I know I'm going a bit further here, but I want to break this down. Thoughts are, a lot of people identify with their thoughts as if they are their thoughts. Thoughts are like the clouds. Thoughts are like the clouds. And we are the sky. But most people are identifying with the clouds. A thought comes through. I should hurt myself right now. And we go, look, I'm so depressed, I'm so angry, I'm so terrible. And we're identifying with the thought. But the thought is not who we be. The thought is a part of the collective consciousness. It's an amalgamation, it's a collection of all of the experiences that we've had, all the things that we saw. It could have been the commercial that I saw, the billboard that I saw. But then we identify with them. Oh, I need to lift more weights. Well, what if that came from you seeing the billboard of the guy with the shirt off flexing his bicep? What if that came from you watching the Kardashians and believing that your butt needs to be bigger so you get injections? See, this is the practice of like piecing apart, like where did that come from? And do I choose that anymore? Hi, little guy. Do I choose you anymore? No, I don't. That's the game I play. Accept what is, let go of what was. Have faith in what will be, and be here now. Accept what is, let go of what was. Have faith in what will be, and be here now. So for me, it's about accepting what is. What's here right now? Cool, I have this amount in my bank account. Awesome, interesting. That's some information, that's some feedback. So that's accept what is. Let go of what was. Oh, I was the high school quarterback back in the day, bro. Oh my God, I used to be so beautiful, right? We're holding on. So let go of what is. Right, no. Oh, hold on. Accept what is, let go of what was. There we go. So now we're letting go of what was, because that's not what's here now. And then we have faith in what will be, understanding that we are always co-creating with the Creator, with our thoughts, our words, and our actions. Accept what is, let go of what was, have faith in what will be. And then the last one, drum roll please, be here now. And in the being here, because one may say, well, how do you do that? You ask powerful questions, because powerful questions call for powerful answers. So we ask ourselves, what do I choose now? What would love do now? What good is here that I presently cannot see? And then just listen, just wait. Because the mind, God, Google, they all act the same. Type something in on Google. If you say, why am I so terrible? You're going to get an answer. Google will search. It'll say, because when you were 14, you did that one thing. Because when that guy touched you in that way, you didn't say anything. And you see, you're stupid. You're less than. But if you ask a powerful question, if you type that into Google, to the spirit, into the mind, what good is here that I presently cannot see? It'll say, oh, Preston, you know what's good? The sound of those birds chirping. You know what's good? Your family, peace, the waves, your giggle, the way you don't take any of this stuff serious. That's what's good. The script that happens in the head. One of the most amazing things that I want to remind us all is that the things that we project into the future, especially worry, because a lot of people worry about worst case scenarios. You know, we're always playing out why it won't work. And 99.9999, I'll just say 100% of the time, it almost never happens the way we thought it would. So for me, the practice in the game is in allowing and letting go and surrendering with, so you have an intention. You can have a goal, but then being detached from the outcome is where the magic lies. When you can let go of what it needs to look like. A lot of people would like to attract their perfect mate, attract the one. But they're so fixated on the one being 6'2" with dark hair and is a banker that they miss the guy at the grocery store. They miss the guy that they see at the gym all the time that's always complimenting and open doors for them. So when we can let go of the attachment, there's space for Spirit, God, Buddha, Allah, Krishna, whatever name is on the door for you, the universe, to step in and do the work for you. So for me, there was a time 3.5 years ago where I made a decision that I was going to call in the one, that I was dedicating myself to attracting the one. And in that conversation, I made a decision that I was going to take 6 months of celibacy and keep all of my energy in every way possible and work on me, because I understood that it's not the mountain that we conquer, but ourselves. So I went in the gym, my inner gym, and I was working out and I was falling in love with myself. And there was a point when I came out of that and I decided I was going to start dating again. And I received a message from a friend who I went to college with that said, I just met the female version of you. You guys are totally going to work together. Like, she's dating my friend, but like you guys are totally going to work together. He said, I'm out here in London. And I went, oh, that's interesting. Okay, cool. Well, nice to meet you, Alexi. If you're ever in LA, give me a call. So, click, Facebook, message sent. And I go back to the work. And in that time, I had set up a blind date with this beautiful young woman who I had only seen through Facebook and met years and years ago, but we made a decision that we were going to meet up. The day before, get this, the day before the blind date, I woke up out of a dead sleep, 6 a.m. She's coming. I had this clear, like, just understanding that whoever the queen was, whoever my one was on her way. So I went on to Instagram and I posted a picture, and Facebook, and I posted a picture, you can find this right now, of two wolves kissing. And I said, I can feel her coming, ... hashtag wifey, hashtag the queen is on her way. And I posted it. The next day, this girl knocks on my door, 9 p.m. We have tickets to a show. And she knocks on my door, she opens the door, I see her. And because I wasn't being led by my animal, and because of all the practice that I had been in, I knew it wasn't her. So it was an immediate no for me. And instead of slamming the door or saying thank you but no thank you, I invited her up because I knew enough to know that the number one thing we always have is our stillness and our silence. So instead of being reactive and moving quick, I invited her upstairs into my home. I went in another room and I just got still and I asked the question. Remember, powerful questions call for powerful answers. And I said, am I to go? And I got a resounding yes. And I'm like, really? Because this doesn't seem like the one. I'm not really into her. And he's like, yes, go. And I'm like, okay, cool. I got dressed really quick. And we got in the car, and every single red light on the way to this show, we hit everyone. And, you know, I knew enough to understand that when that is happening, that is the universe's way of halting and stalling things for whatever reason. So I was like, okay, I surrender. Because I was getting really upset at one point. And I surrendered. We get to the show and run up to the door, and they say, oh, we're so sorry. We oversold the show by 10 seats. You're going to have to stand on the wall. And I said, oh, that's perfectly fine. So we stand on the wall. The guy takes a few steps, turns back around and says, actually, you two, come here. And he grabs my date and he says, I'm going to create two more seats on the front row. So he puts my chair down here. He puts my date's chair there. I look at the stage. I look at my date. And next to her is Alexi Panos, my soon-to-be wife. And we have this moment where I'm like, Alexi? And she's like, Preston? And then my mind's exploding at this point. So I'm like, yeah, I knew it. I knew she was on her way. And I'm like going crazy in my mind, not actually verbalizing this. And my date's in the middle, kind of going like this the whole time. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And she's like, I live here. I moved, a few years ago, but I travel so much. And I'm like, interesting. I didn't know you lived here. And like the whole time my brain's like, God, I knew it. Oh, it's like freaking lightning bolts and fireworks are going off in my brain and in my heart. And my date's literally still in the middle, just kind of like going back and forth. And the whole time during the show, I kept like peeking across my date and looking at Alexi's leg because she had it like folded, and you could just see like just this much of her calf muscle. And I was just like, oh, that's my wife's calf muscle. I was like, and first time ever met her. And so unbeknownst to me, Alexi had a similar experience where she was kind of dating a guy. He asked her to come to London. She didn't want to go. She asked the universe, should she go? It said, yes, you should. She gets on the plane. She gets there. The guy misses his flight. And my college roommate, my friend, picks her up and hangs with her the whole day. So all of these things had to go right and wrong, whatever that means, for us to have this synchronistic moment where we meet in person. And the universe is always acting that way. It's always acting in our favors. The issue is, and the conversation I have for people to understand is it's not your job to make it happen. It's your job to welcome it, to become the space for love, to become the space for creativity, to become the space for financial abundance, to become the space for your dreams and careers and visions all to manifest. Yeah. The space. Yeah, so for me, the ego does not speak first. For me, the ego is, so first thought, right? So for me, intuition, God voice is what I call it, is the first thought. Kiss her, ask her out, make a left, turn right. That's the first thought. Second thought is, if you turn left, you may run into traffic. The second thought is if you kiss her, she may say no. The third thought is like, dude, are you kidding me? Your breath stinks. The fourth thought is, she hasn't given you any signals to say, come kiss her. And all of this is constantly talking us out of what our initial innate feelings were. What was there in the beginning, right in the front. All the rest of it is noise. For me, I like to remind people that it's impossible to fail. The only way to fail is to die. And even that is not death, it's a transmutation of energy, because we know now that energy can never be born and never die. But the only way to fail is to die. Other than that, it's just information and feedback. So you turn left, you run into traffic. Interesting, cool, now what do I choose? I'm gonna choose right this time, since I chose left. You try to kiss the girl and she says no. Interesting. I wonder what's here for me now. Oh, she said no, because 3 weeks later, I met her best friend, who is now my wife. I start my day with, I set an alarm every morning that is 20 minutes before I would actually like to get up, because a part of our sacred contract in my relationship with Alexi is that we have snuggle time. So in that snuggle time, we give ourselves 20 minutes to just kind of like fumble around and like be kittens rolling all over each other. And then at that point, the second alarm goes off. I turn that off, I sit up, and I go through a stream of consciousness of gratitude, where I just say anything that I'm grateful for. Like, I'm grateful for my lips, my eyebrows, skateboards, clouds, puppies, like anything that's there. I just say what's up. Just let it flow. And then at that point, I get up and go into, we have like a little balcony where I have a little meditation space where I sit and go within so I don't go without. And then from that point, I usually have books to my left and right. Then I grab one of those books and do some reading, take that in, check the surf report, because if there's waves, then I go surfing. And then at that point, post on social media and head out into the world to go play on my bike, because I live by the beach. Ooh, forgiveness is a process. Forgiveness, the F word, is a process. And we don't forgive so in forgiveness, we don't absolve what someone else does. We forgive so it doesn't kill us in the process. And I know this very personally. For years, I held some anger and some resentment towards some family members, and that hurt me more than it hurt them. You know, the Buddha says that we will not be punished for our anger, we will be punished by it. You know, the Buddha says that we will not be punished for our anger, but by it. And a part of me having these heart palpitations and all of those things, that stress that I was experiencing as a 25-year-old, was for me holding this anger and this resentment towards some of my family members. And the moment I let that go and began the forgiveness process and began to understand that we're all doing the best that we can from where we can, and that it's always perfect in all ways, that no matter how good your parents or your friends or your environment is, you're always going to end up screwed up. That's what happens. That's a part of life. And the screw up is some of the best stuff. That's where the juice is. That's where the magic is. So now, in my life, I'm grateful for all of the things that went wrong. I'm grateful for all of the mistakes that I've made. I'm grateful for all the pain that I experienced, because I'm no longer guessing. I'm no longer guessing what it feels like to suffer. I'm no longer guessing what it feels like to be in pain. And I can speak to people's listening in a way in which it reaches down into their souls and reminds them of who they truly are. That no matter what the question is, that love is the answer. The process of forgiveness is understanding that it is a process, and it happens one day at a time, and one day you may be crystal clear and feel like it's all done, and the next day you may want to throw a chair through a window. And all of it is perfectly fine and okay. One of the things I teach people all the time is to understand that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to feel sadness. It's okay to still feel anger. You know, in our society, we've gotten so caught up chasing good that we've cut off half of life. We're all over trying to get high on good all the time. We want to be high on good, that we miss the magic. We miss the beauty of life. You know, little kids are the greatest teachers on the planet. Someone steals their swing, someone takes their toy, they get upset. They cry, "Mommy, he stole my toy, I'm so mad, I'm mad!" And they go through this whole thing. And they allow the experience of anger to complete itself. And then 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, they're back playing with the same kid that stole their swing or their toy. But adults know. We have to hold on to it. We have to justify it. We got to carry it everywhere we go, as if that is hurting the other person. You see, I've never made it in life. I never did anything with my life because of who my dad was. I never did anything because of my skin color. You know, if I had more money, then things would be different. Not understanding that if you just allow those experiences to complete themselves, that there's space for more of life. And life is in the profane and the profound, and that which we label good and that which we label bad. So our life is affected being judgmental when we believe the judgments, when we believe the criticism, when we believe that what we say and what's flowing through our minds is actually truth with a capital T. That's when the context, because let me explain it like this. The productivity of the soil, the condition of the soil determines the productivity of the seed. So the condition of you determines the productivity of the seed, your dreams, your desires, your wants, all of the things that you're looking to achieve in life, to experience in life. The condition of the soil, who you be, determines the productivity of your dreams. And you hinder the productivity when you're in judgment. You hinder the productivity when you're gossiping. You hinder the productivity when you're criticizing others and going against life. So that hinders the productivity of the seed. Guilt is a lie. Guilt is a mental construct that has us believing that life should be some way other than it is. See, I like to remind us all that everyone is doing the best that they can from where they can with what they have available to them at the time. So if that means that you made a mistake, which we all do, that's what you did. And life is perfect in all ways. So if that mistake caused someone else some pain, yes, you get to own up to that and take responsibility, but you also get to understand that we're always co-creating and there isn't a single mistake on this planet. Not a leaf, not a hair on your head, not a hair in my beard. There's no mistakes on this planet. So if something terrible, something that which you have labeled terrible has happened to you, or you were at the cause of that, understand that I think that one of the biggest mistakes and things that people don't understand is that we all come here perfect, whole, and complete. And in that completeness, we are whole soul beings and we have both masculine and feminine energy that we can tap into and dance into. Now, some of us, based on life circumstances, have created conditioned tendencies where we live in one or the other most of the time. So for any women out there, and men, but women in particular, who would like to have or experience a masculine man, my conversation and my challenge to you is to relinquish the masculine. I find that a lot of women, in particular, are, and I get it, single mothers, people out there hustling, having to be mommy and daddy and all of the above, in a business world that is operated from the masculine. So I find that a lot of women have been operating in their masculine so long that they don't know how to or remember how to relinquish that masculine. And yet in relationships, they end up punishing and getting upset with the man for being in his feminine. But at all times, whether it's 2 men, 20 people in a room, or 2 people in a romantic relationship, if one is in the masculine, the other one will always either fall off and move into the feminine, or they'll both stay in their masculine and there'll be fights, there'll be clashes. So for me, the practice is in understanding that at any given moment, you can soften that beautiful heart of yours and move into your feminine. And that's for man or woman. At any given moment, when you understand that that's what we have, and the masculine, let me define this for you. The masculine is direct. It's warrior energy. It's linear. It's logic. And the feminine is flow. It's creativity. It's goddess energy. And at any given point, we can dance into any of those. But most people are stuck in their conditioned tendency, and they're only operating from the masculine all the time, and only creating from there, and wondering why certain things aren't happening. And some people are always in the feminine, always in their yin energy, and their head is in the clouds. And you can't attract, you're always attracting your polar opposites. So if you are a woman that is in your masculine, you will only attract a man that tends to operate in his feminine. And if that is not the case, if you do attract a man for a moment that also has a conditioned tendency of being in his masculine, you guys will clash until one of you relinquishes that masculine. So I think that's a big thing that people aren't necessarily talking about and understanding, and that goes into all aspects of life. You could be at school. Let's take a high school student who's having a situation with some kids bullying them. And the kids are operating from the masculine. And you tend to, based on conditioned tendencies, move into the feminine and keep folding and running away, and the bullying keeps happening. Well, if you just move into your masculine, and I'm not saying to fight, I'm not saying anything of that nature, but just see what it feels like to move into the masculine and into your warrior energy and stand for yourself and say enough is enough. See what that feels like. See what that produces. And same thing on the other end. You know, as a kid, for me, when people would try to bully me, I would bully them back tenfold. So they would come with their masculine, I would come with my masculine. And Einstein says that no problem can be solved at the level of consciousness in which it was created. So what he's saying is if somebody brings fire, and that's the problem, and you come back with fire, the problem remains. But if somebody brings fire and you come with air or water, then we have an opportunity to shift something. For a teenage kid who's being bullied, I would say, understand that it's all perfect right now. You're not alone. Reach out to friends, family. There's a lot of people who care about you. There's a lot of people who would love to support you. And understand that the kids that are bullying you, the people who are bullying you because they are hurt themselves. So when you can bring compassion and love to those people, instead of seeing yourself as a victim, because you are not a victim. You are experiencing something that does not seem or fair to you, but you're not a victim. So one of the things that comes up quite a bit is people seeking love outside of themselves, seeking love through friends and family, seeking love through romantic relationships. And I like to remind people that love, self-love, is where it's at. It's all an inside job. The context determines the content. Who you be, the moment you fall in love with yourself, as Jesus said, as I am lifted up, I draw all unto me. What he's talking about is, as he fell in love with himself, everybody came. So love, we cannot be separate from love. Love is here now. Love is in the pain. Love is in the sorrow. Love is in the anger. Love is in the joy. Love is in the harmony. Love is here now. Love is the breath that you get to take. Love is the eyes you get to look through. Love is the warm chocolate cookies and milk that you get from your mom. Love is everything on this entire planet. We cannot be outside of, we cannot be separate from love. We swim in love. Now, when it comes to making love more personal, I would say choosing to slow down to the speed of wisdom and start listening to what's actually here, what's happening right now. Not what's in the future, not what you want to create, not what you're looking forward to, not what happened back then when you were 7 or 12 or 15 or 30, but what's here right now. What's here right now is breath. What's here right now is sun. What's here right now is family, is tribe, is another opportunity to fill this now moment up with that. So I like to say that love will find a way, everything else will find an excuse. If you say you love it, find a way.